Hashtag no music, no intro. We are back. This is our Patreon only, YouTube members only. Next episode in the series for Prospect of the Week. And we are breaking down and talking about Ole Miss quarterback prospect Jaxson Dart.
Woo.
Got a got
Polarizing.
a got a holiday mimosa
Damn, this
ready.
nigga alcoholic now.
It's funny because I rarely drink alcohol. Like besides like when we're podcasting, like that's literally
Exactly. You sound just like an alcoholic. Sound just like alcoholic. I rarely drink. Only in social occasions.
yeah, only social occasion when we're podcasting, which is like twice a week. Um, but it's so the way we've been doing these now is like we don't pick who we talk about. Y'all pick who we talk about. I don't I don't put the polls on Twitter anymore because people on Twitter aren't the majority who see these episodes. People who are
Right.
Patreons and people who are YouTube members see these episodes. So y'all are dictating the outcomes of these polls. So Jaxson Dart won, and it's just he's a fascinating prospect to talk about because the reason why I think at least our community start talking about him is that when was this? Maybe like a month before the Senior Bowl, was told to me that by my friend, close source, close friend, that Jaxson Dart, the buzz in the league. This is not for me. This is inside the league. And when I'm told that, it's very interesting. And these are things that sometimes I don't know the caveat if that means scouts or
Right.
front office people, because that's a huge
Right.
distinction.
Yeah.
I would guess it probably means front office people and not so much scouts, because I think if you would ask scouts, he's probably more
Yeah.
viewed as like a second round prospect. But the buzz
Exactly.
inside the league was that he could it's very possible that he's likely that he's going to have a Bo Nix type of rise. And keep in mind that's a large rise. Like Bo Nix went top 10 and he went
Yeah.
10th overall in the draft. And I was given some caveats as to why that could be, and my friend knew nothing of Jaxson Dart, just passed the information over to me. And this is when I'll say this about Jaxson Dart, and I feel like us not being college football fans, it is our benefit the most when we are evaluating college quarterbacks,
Yep.
especially college quarterbacks that happen to play in the SEC.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like there's this. I don't have a favorite college football team. If Texas Tech plays, I may
Same.
watch here and there. I don't have
Same.
any allegiance to any college football team. I'm not a homer. I watch usually just to watch prospects. That's really the only, and even that's few and far between.
Right.
You're seeing it with Jaxson Dart this year. We saw it with Bo Nix last year.
Yep.
Quarterbacks who play in the SEC, especially with Saints fans, because Saints fans have this prism of LSU-ness, right? Not
Yeah.
all Saints fans, but a lot of Saints fans have this prism of LSU-ness. I felt like with Bo Nix, people could not separate Auburn Bo Nix, Oregon Bo Nix. They couldn't separate the two. And I feel like not to the same degree, but the similar thing is happening with Jaxson Dart of like he played at Ole Miss, he played in Lane Kiffin's system. He's trash. He's trash. That is literally where the conversation ends. There's no nuance. There's no debate to it. He's trash, and if you try to interject any type of reasoning beyond it, don't want to hear it.
Don't want to hear it, bro. Don't want to hear it. It's funny though, because quarterback is the one position in the college where you could not be like typically as a prospect, you got to be good in college in order for you to be good in the NFL. Like rarely
Yes.
for most prospects, you're bad in college and good in the NFL. You might be not experienced, or you might have this,
Right.
but usually you have to be a good player in college
Mm-hmm.
to be good in the NFL. But quarterback is a weird position because
No matter
there's
how
just
good you,
no there's just no rhyme or reason. You could be like the best quarterback college has ever seen and be Kellen Moore, like a seventh round draft pick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could,
right.
like, it doesn't matter. Or you could be like, you could be pretty inexperienced as a quarterback in college and maybe not do much, and then hit the NFL and like blow up. Justin Herbert, he was a good, a good college quarterback, but like especially his first year, he hit the scene. It was like, whoa, who is this
Who's
kid?
listening?
Slinging this thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of interesting, especially when you look at like SEC. It's like when college fans are watching, football, they're in college mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're watching college football, they're watching college
Yes.
quarterbacks, so they're judging them like based on that. Where when we come in like after the fact, we're looking at like traits, what traits are transferable to the NFL as a prospect. I'm not even caring about what college you went to, the SEC.
Mm-mm.
Don't care. I'm just
Mm-mm.
looking at like physical traits. I'm looking at game situations and stuff like that. So I just don't get caught up in oh man, this dude is trash. It's like, I mean, he's being considered as like a, you know, NFL draftable player, so he's not trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's
Right.
obviously he has something. There's something there. Now we got to figure it out. Figure it out as if it's applicable to being a NFL starter. So yeah, that debate is always fascinating to me.
So what was your? We don't have. I don't think we don't have a stat or anything for Dart, because we kind of did not did this one on the fly, but Ryan
Sorry,
had a good.
I'm moving.
Ryan had a good moving and shaking. Um, what were your thoughts watching Dart when you just kind of first put a couple of games on, just watching him as a prospect? What are the things that came good, bad, just in general?
I remember first watching them probably not too long after you heard from your source, and I watched them, and I was just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see the traits, you see the arm, you see decent size. I think he's 6'2", 6'2" and a half maybe. You see the movement ability, the rushing ability. Just my first thought was like, oh, this looks like a nice, second round, day two type quarterback. That was just my
Right.
first thought. Like, this is a day two guy, which coincidentally, that was my first thought. Like with Bo Nix last year, like, oh,
Exactly,
this is a
bro.
nice day
Exactly.
two type quarterback. Like, you could try to do something with. And then after you heard from your source, and I just started paying attention a lot. It was just crazy how just the buzz just started building. You
Bro,
just see
it was
Field Yates,
uncanny.
and that is this person, that is that person. Then boom, Senior Bowl. He was the star of the Senior Bowl. Everybody wanted to see Jaxson Dart, Jaxson Dart. So it was just interesting how that what you heard from your friend didn't come from anywhere. Like, that was, you could just tell that was percolating. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you heard it here first.
6'2", 225. Um, so I want to give a shout out to Todd McShay. Made this analogy recently, and it's funny because I was thinking it a little bit when I watched him a bit. It's going to sound a little sacrilegious, but before I make the analogy, to your point, I yes, I felt like just where I ended up with Bo Nix last year, and I was getting raked over the coals. To be fair, I I felt like ultimately Bo Nix, when I watched him, Oregon Bo Nix, and again, I felt like I was exposed more to Oregon Bo Nix being on the West Coast. I saw a lot more of him post Auburn, and I won't call it a blow up, but I was more exposed to him, and I was like, I just felt like he was a low first round pick, high second round pick type of talent, right? And quarterbacks get elevated. That's just how it is.
Quarterback
So
inflation.
it's how it works. And when I watched Jaxson Dart, well, I think I watched like 5 or 6 games of his. I kind of ended up in the same range. Low first round, high second round in terms of where I feel like his talent was. Playing style, Todd McShay, and I felt this watching him, he really felt like I'm trying to think what store. TJ Maxx, Burlington Coat Factory, Drake May a little bit. Like,
Mm.
and Todd McShay made that. It's funny because he made it on his podcast. But when I was watching him, I felt kind of the same thing. Like the traits are similar, except
Mm-hmm.
Drake May does everything at a way better and a higher level, which why he went as high as he went. Right?
Right.
He's bigger. He has a better arm, stronger arm. He rushes better, a little more polished. All those things that Drake May does, I feel like and I feel like maybe a little bit game situation wise and maybe football IQ wise, Drake May is higher than Jaxson Dart. But all those intangibles or just quite simply how they win, I feel like Jaxson Dart, Drake May, similar. Drake May also played in a very, very, very pro style of system in North Carolina. That's the thing when you talk to people, when you bring up Jaxson Dart, that's big. Oh, he played in the Lane Kiffin system, Lane Kiffin quarterbacks. They don't work out in the NFL. And that was, if you Dante's in here in the chat, that was like what he was raked over the coals the most at the presser at the Senior Bowl. Everyone kept bringing up the system. And I just felt, and this is where you get to it, and I kind of prep myself thinking about this podcast and breaking it down. And this fucking question almost crawls like a fucking pseudo civil war in our Discord. But when you think about it, how many quarterbacks in the NFL? How many quarterbacks are in the NFL that you win because of, and how many quarterbacks in the NFL do you win with?
It's a tough question. It's a very small list of win because of. Very
Like
small list.
Right now, how many quarterbacks do you win because of?
Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, um, like it gets hard after that, bro. Like honestly, it gets hard. Like because after that, it gets like
Everyone else kind of after that, it's like you can, it's like maybe
maybe
I would put it's early. And I guess I think it's probably too early to put him in there, bro. Like I'd say, man, I'll put JD5 in there, bitch. Like the way he played, bro, like it's hard.
real early. But I say those 4 are like not debatable to me. Like those
Like,
4
locks
you could win with. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you could throw
win because of.
Right. But JD,
Stroud, Herbert,
Stroud,
all those after
Herbert
that.
is Herbert fascinating.
Bro,
to me.
that's a fascinating. In the Discord, I had him on my win because of. I could completely understand why someone would say that he is not a win because of quarterback and would fall in the win with of. I get it, understand it. Yeah. All that to say, and this is why it's just so interesting to talk quarterbacks. There are 4 fucking quarterbacks in the NFL right now that are a win because of that they can elevate talent around them and go out and win because of. So that's why I always find it so fascinating when we're talking about quarterback prospects that like it's hard. One, it's hard to find one. Period. Like it's hard to find a good win with a good win with quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. That's hard to find, bro. Like that's really hard.
It's hard, and it feels like people are not knocking that. So I know so then the debate becomes. So let's talk about his traits. Okay, so I feel like we haven't broken down Jaxson Dart because we're kind of getting in the weeds of just like the quarterback discussion,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good discussion to have. What do you like about him as a player?
The first thing that stands out to me is like his when he's decisive with the football, it looks good.
Yes.
Like it looks good. And in some ways, this is going like a lot of people.
Ooh. Oh,
Reminds me of Derek Carr in some ways, in the way that
the deep ball.
the deep ball and just when Derek Carr would give you two throws a game, or maybe two throws every two games, where it's like, that was nice. That was a nice throw where he back foot decisive, and that's what it reminded me of when I was watching him at some point. I was like, man, because I'd be getting bored by him a little bit, and I'd be watching, then I'd be like, ooh, that was nice, and that's what I think, and a lot of throws he did like were down the field because of that offense. So a
Yeah.
lot of it's like down the field, hit.
Dante said logging off.
I know it's gonna gross people out, but it's just look. I've been watching Carr for 2 years now, so it's like that's one of the few people that comes to mind. But no, man, I like his arm. I like his arm. I like the way. I like. I think his running ability can be a little better because I think his decision making on when to run can be a little scattershot. But we're
Right.
talking about what we like. I like him as a thrower, bro. I think he's like a real thrower, which I know just sounds like, well, of course he's a quarterback, but like that's like there's some quarterbacks that come out as like they don't look as natural throwing the ball. He
There you
seems
go.
like a very natural thrower to me, like just a
And we
natural thrower of the football.
and we saw that we didn't see it a lot in Mobile in person, but like day three finally, like when he finally started opening it up a little bit and opening his arm up, then we kind of we got to see it of how.
Well, one thing they did at the Senior Bowl that I don't know how I feel about it, but they start off trying to force him into like a pro style offense,
Right.
getting the snap under center and stuff like that, which he was going to struggle with because he didn't do that in college at all. Like they don't take the ball from under center in Lane Kiffin's offense, and so he struggled with it in the beginning. And then when he got in the game, like the actual Senior Bowl game that I watched, they had him
Oh,
in
good.
shotgun and pistol, and he was, he looked good. It was like, like there you go. You know what I'm saying? So like that's key for him. The key for him is gonna really be getting comfortable. And coincidentally, you know what? Offensive coach loves to play out of
Oh,
shotgun and pistol.
pistol. Ooh, who is that, Ryan?
Kellen, Kellen Moore, baby. Like
Oh, oh.
all his quarterbacks
Hmm.
play out of shotgun, man. So I just thought that it's interesting. It's interesting.
Brian in the chat said, "What you can do versus what you can do reliably is the endless struggle with projecting prospects."
Ooh, preach, Brian, preach.
Yes,
That's real shit.
it is because you can't. Because at the end of the day, if you haven't seen that player do it in college or not do it consistently in college, it literally is all a projection.
All
You
of
are
it, Brian.
you are you are, but and we'll continue to break down Dart. Do you have to squint when you look at Jaxson Dart?
Yes, to me,
Yeah,
yes.
there's some squinting. There's some
There's a
squinting.
squint. I had to squint with Bo Nix. You know what I'm saying? Like, but even though I like Bo Nix, it was like you had to kind of like, oh, I could see him doing this. I could see him doing that. The thing with Dart, and it goes back to Bo Nix, even though they're different prospects. Like the destination was so important for Bo Nix, and it's gonna be the
Yeah.
same for Dart. Like you can't put Dart on like a bad team and expect
No.
him to start day one. It'll be a disaster. Like you was able to protect Bo Nix because they had a great defense, started off fast.
Good
Sean
old
Payton
line.
is good old line. Sean Payton is the best at like just kind of getting the exactly what he needs out of a quarterback to win the game. Just trying to win. Ain't trying to get you like the beautiful stats. just trying to win and play clean football. And he's beautiful at designing those type of game plans for a quarterback. So like Bo Nix going there was just perfection. And I think Derek I'm about to say Dark Card.
About to lose everybody. Nigga, just about to
Dark.
lose
I
everybody.
do think I think Dark, bro. Like his destination will be very, very important, man. Very important because he has the tools. He has the
He does.
tools.
He
It is
does.
no question about it, man.
Do you think? And here's something that I feel it's hard to know a little bit. Do you think, especially in that Lane Kiffin offense, it's really kind of hard to tell. I wonder if he's a. It's hard to tell if he's an anticipation thrower or not
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
you can't really tell in the
You
Lane
just
Kiffin
can't
offense.
tell. You
You
just
have no
can't
idea.
tell. You don't know if he's like really a right to left to right progression reader. I mean, he does like a little bit, but it's usually like 1-2.
Tutu. Yep.
If not this, then that. You know what I'm
That.
saying? So it's not like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I'm saying?
Literally Derek Carr, bro. 1-2. 1-2.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And it's not that he can't do it. It's just pure projection, bro. Like we just don't know. That's the part that scares me. It's like, man, I just wish I could see more of the things I have questions for. I have questions about his, his intelligence. Not that he's shown that he's the dummy or he does dumb stuff,
Right.
but I just have questions. Like I wanted to see him like just really slice somebody up. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, ooh, it's so fascinating to me. It's so fascinating to me. But
His,
I mean, a lot of that was similar with Jalen Hurts too.
that's it's fun. I've said it, man. Like that's who prospect wise. I'm doing the cross racial draft
What?
comparison. I know, but he reminds me as a prospect, and it's funny because Jalen Hurts went 40th overall in
Yep.
round two. He reminds me so much as Jalen Hurts as a prospect. I told this to Dante when we were sitting at the Waffle House in Mobile. Is he, everything that like you worried about Jalen Hurts is all the positive things. He throws well enough. Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts' scrambling ability for sure was better than Dart. Dart can scramble. Kind of had those moments in games where they just made just some dumb mistakes. Just like the process, like kind of that short circuited, just like dumb interceptions. Like in Dart
Yeah.
had the game this past season where he just almost threw like what was it, 2 interceptions or 3 interceptions? Like when his team like he needed to drive his team down the field like in like
hmm
back drives. But having this conversation with Greg recently, and the big difference that you just don't know is that Jalen Hurts has that intangible of that it.
Yeah.
Whatever that component of it is, Jalen Hurts has that. You don't know if Jackson Dart has that. You can't put something on that. That's not a
Yeah.
combine thing. Like that, you
No.
can't
No. No.
put
No.
something on that. Yeah, it was the Florida game. Thank you, Cole. Cole said Kellen did a lot with Hurts, who still isn't the best processor.
Yeah.
He did, and then the question becomes: is Kellen wanting to do that again, or does Kellen want
Right.
someone who is a good processor who doesn't need that? He doesn't need to do that for? And if you
Right.
just act like, because I'll say this in a vacuum, right? Right now, and even I would say this even coming out as a prospect, I would feel that Spencer Rattler coming out of South Carolina was a much better processor than Jackson Dart is as
Yeah.
like coming out of Ole Miss. Just football IQ, processor wise,
Yeah.
just in a vacuum, right? Not so it's just so it's but if you just that's the question of what does Kellen Moore want out of a quarterback. I can feel like I can say this confidently on the podcast. It's a Patreon only podcast. Even though, I still know that the Saints listen to our Patreon only episodes because they listen to every fucking thing that we do. I know that the Saints only have one round 1 grade on a quarterback in this draft class. Only one quarterback. Cam Ward. Only quarterback in this draft class that they have a round 1 grade on. That said, there are some in the building that feel that it's time for them to draft a quarterback in round 1. There's also those in the building that feel like they have a dude, quote unquote dude, in Spencer Rattler. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything that's new. I've been saying that for literally a season plus now. Tom Pelissero said it. Like, I feel like I'm being a dead horse at this point.
And Tom Pelissero said people in the league.
Oh, hello.
There are people in the league. There are people in the league that think Spencer Rattler is a starting quarterback.
What? No, no, that can't be real.
Can you believe that?
Can't be real. Fake news.
Damn agenda. That damn agenda.
Fake news. Funny thing is, you know what's hilarious? We have not even really said #the agenda in like how long?
Go do a search on my Twitter and see the last time. Because I just been kind of like, I'm just gonna let y'all I'm just gonna let time play out. Let time play out.
Anyhow, but then it becomes that thing of you said this thing. I want to get back to this real quick. That where Dart goes is going to be crucial for him. Crucial for him. Cole said they saw that the agenda was done. I can see it. I don't know how. Like I could see. I can't get the Rams or the Steelers out of my head for a team like Dart.
That Rams one. When you told me that a while back ago, I was like, ooh.
It would just make so much sense, bro.
That just makes sense right there.
Sense. Especially like, but here's the thing that would not be good for Dart. Like for I would like the perfect thing for Dart. Like this is like, ooh, I just love team building, bro. Like just get. I don't even care about talking about the Saints. Like if I'm Sean McVay, I'm bringing in Daniel Jones to start him for a couple of games. I don't want Dart. I don't want Dart to start week 1. I want Dart to be on the bench till week 5, week 6, week 7. Let Daniel Jones go out there, take them bullets. You go out there, get them hits. I don't want Dart to be out there for the first 6 weeks, and then when the time is right, then I'm gonna put Dart out. That would just make so much sense because there's so much buzz that I know that report came out a couple of weeks ago that like Matthew Stafford was expected back, bruh. I don't believe it, bro. I think Matt Stafford out there, bitch. I think y'all
seem like it, bro. Which I still don't really understand. I feel like either side, really. I know, but like, yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
I'm just like, damn, McVay, it's cold out there, McVay.
He said, and here's the crazy thing: if the Rams were trying to trade up last year to draft Brock Bowers, God, that would have pissed me the fuck off. Thank God that didn't happen. If they're willing to do that, if they have an affinity for Dart, if the Steelers have an affinity for Dart, although there's a lot of Aaron Rodgers for Steelers buzz, which would be weird and gross. Like if Mike Tomlin wants to get fired, or like
I think that'll be the end. I think that'll be the end of
if he wants to submit his last year in Pittsburgh, that'll be it. But I just where Dart goes is so crucial. Sherman in the chat said, "Got to give Rattler a shot, man. If there are coaches and GMs saying that Rattler's believed to be a future starting quarterback, I would draft weapons galore and let him cook."
That's something to kill. The perfect scenario is Kellen Moore sits down, goes through all the Rattler tape, which he probably did already, but goes through Rattler tape, sits down with Spencer Rattler, likes the conversations, like, man, I'm rolling with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm rolling with Spence this year. Fine. You know what I'm saying? But it has to be, he didn't draft Spencer Rattler. He didn't draft him. He wasn't on the team when he came here. So he has no ties to him whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he just wants coaches want their guy. Like, they want their handpicked guy, period. Their guy that they groom and hadn't been touched and sullied by another coach like DA and Clint Kubiak and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They want their own hands. They want to be the first hands to touch him.
Want to mold
him and all that stuff. So, like, I get it. Like, I have no no fight in it. I don't care what he picks. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be happy if he picks Spence, but if he doesn't, like if it's Dart, if it's what's the kid from Syracuse, if it's Jalen Milroe,
McCord.
yeah, McCord, I don't care, man. Like if you down, I'm down, bro. And the Saints, like you were talking about this in the Discord earlier, like Saints need to get into the game, bro. Like they need to start drafting these quarterbacks.
I'm telling you, bro. Like,
And they
go ahead.
I was just saying they have drafted quarterbacks. They've drafted like 5 quarterbacks since 2015, maybe or something like that. But it's all late, guys. It's all late.
The highest they drafted is Garrett Grayson, bro. Round
Garrett
3.
Grayson. That's what I'm saying. So it's not like they've been, really investing top notch in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's time to go swing for it, man. Swing for the fences.
And this is someone like as someone who's not a gambler, to someone who does not like. If I'm going to Vegas, I don't gamble. I'm not wasting my money.
Mark.
The way that it is in the NFL, if you want a starting quarterback, you got to get that quarterback usually in the first round, or in the second round, or you're not gonna, or statistically, you're just not gonna find one.
Right.
That's just that's what the numbers say.
It's just a fact. It's a fact, bro.
Like, unless you're the Niners and just get fucking lucky with Mr. Irrelevant with Brock Purdy after you missed out on a top 3 pick at quarterback, it's just how the numbers play out.
Well,
and
it's such an outlier, just a complete outlier. God.
So it was just a good debate I was just having with Brock, is that at some point you have to get some skin in the game. We have this conversation about the Packers. They get skin in the game when they already have someone. They got Aaron Rodgers. Cool. We getting Jordan Love. The Eagles had Carson Wentz, even though like the injury had happened and they had already probably seen like the decline. But they didn't have to take Jalen Hurts at 40. No. They could have went and completely, kind of like the argument that Brock was using, right? Like, oh, let's use this pick on a position that we know that's going to help us now. They use it on Jalen Hurts. Fast forward, Jalen Hurts appeared in 2 Super Bowls, won 1, lost 1, 2 Super Bowl appearances. Got to get skin in the game. I'm risk averse in some things and other things I'm not. With quarterbacks in the NFL, you can't be risk averse. You can't be. You have to. Yeah. And the Saints, historically, for the last 20 plus years, we know the data. We know the last time they drafted a quarterback in the first round. This is not me even, and I'm not even coming here and advocating that they should draft Jaxson Dart at 9. However, if Kellen Moore feels like that's his guy and he can win with him and he has a vision for him, then if that's the pick, then you got to roll with fucking Dart, and then let's fucking go.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Throw all the SEC stuff out of your mind. Like, just flush it away, and you start brand new in the NFL, and we'll see. But, he's a fascinating prospect, man. So polarizing, everybody has a strong opinion about him. But look, it's hard finding quarterbacks with tools, bro, and he got tools, man.
He does.
Tools. Size, arm, running ability, all the things, like you mentioned, Drake May has. Yes, Drake May does all those things better, which is why he was considered like a number 1 overall pick at some point, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But all those tools are there with Jaxson Dart. And bro, like those tools go high. Like they get drafted.
They hard to find, bro. They hard to find. Kevin said they are scared, and man, scared money don't make money. It's funny because I hate that phrase when it comes to like gambling in Vegas, but like when it comes to quarterbacks, like I agree,
bro. Saints have been scared. Ain't drafted a quarterback since Archie Manning, bro. Man, grandkid about to be a quarterback in the NFL in 2 years, bro.
Cole said, I'm doing my best to come around on Dart in the Discord or something. I don't even think it's about coming around on him, because and here's what it was for me. And this is what helped me. I went in watching Dart I did not have one single preconceived notion about him. I didn't watch him much. I don't watch college football much at all during the season. I didn't have anything to jade my process. I didn't have any knowledge about him going in. I was kind of like clean and fresh. And as long as I've been a draft Nick, I will tell you from experience that is literally the best way to watch a draft prospect.
Oh yeah,
When you don't,
especially
when you don't,
quarterbacks.
especially quarterbacks, when you don't
Yep.
have any noise to sell your opinion, you just watch them fresh. That is going to
Mm.
give. That is the best because that is coming from just a place of just your opinion. You're not hearing the
Yep.
media. You're not hearing your friends. You're not hearing a Discord. You're just coming, and that's what I did when I was in Texas in January. I literally was in my and at home in my grandma's bed and was just on YouTube. Went through 4 or 5 games, just watching, just watching, just watching. And I came with my opinion about him as a player, and I felt like okay, I can see he's a late first round, high second round talent, but I could easily see why he potentially could go higher because
Yep.
this is a not strong quarterback draft class. I feel like we didn't kind of hit on like his like negatives or his cons. What worries you about Jackson Dart as we kind of wrap this up?
Well, we touched on it a little bit. It's not so much of what he does bad, it's just what you don't see. But another negative is like some of his late game situation management stuff is kind of like, like
Mm,
do you have the what do they call it, the clutch gene, or
mm,
do things start feeling like you start sweating a little bit when it's fourth quarter and the game on the line? Like I don't know if I've seen enough. Maybe it's out there. I got to find the games. I need to see more some clutch moments where he coming through in the clutch and like making something happen, making a play happen when he has to make a play. Like you have to make a play. It's on you for us to get through this game, and you got to make a play. I
right,
need to see more of those situations.
right. And just this more consistent decision making.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brian just made a good point in the chat. Not the same prospect, but there are parallels to Herbert at Oregon in that
Mm-hmm.
what he was asked to do in college versus what he
Yeah,
can do were not the same thing, and it could impact perception. That's good.
completely agree. And I could not stand Justin Herbert as a prospect. I was like, ugh, get
I
him away
I
from me.
couldn't. It's funny. I couldn't either. But then he had that Rose Bowl game, and I was like, "Oh,
Mm.
what is? Oh, just oh, this one can this what Justin can do." Because that Rose Bowl game he had, I don't remember what team they played. Like that version of Justin was more what we then saw in the NFL. But that's
Mm-hmm.
and then, but if I remember correctly, his head coach basically was like, "Cut it loose," like because he basically like he said like he had saved him, right? He had saved
Yeah.
him, and he didn't want him to get hurt during like the regular season, so he didn't have him scramble or whatever. But then it was the Rose Bowl, so he was like, "Fuck it, cut it loose." And then we saw Justin Herbert basically in that game basically be what we saw in the NFL, and
Mm.
so I just it's gonna be fascinating. Like I'll ask you this: it's over under top 15 Jackson Dart in terms of where he's going to be drafted. Over under.
Over being like 1 through 14.
Yes.
I think I think he's gonna go top 15.
Ooh,
I think he's gonna go top
I,
15.
I think he is too, bro.
I think he's gonna go
Where
top 15.
I
Well,
don't
I
know.
don't know. Could be the Saints. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like it could be the Saints. It could be somebody trading up. Um, I think he's gonna go top 15, bro. Just because of the quarterback inflation. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm starting to see a lot more people kind of look at it like, isn't he? Is he QB3 or is he QB2? Because people looking at that Shador tape and they like, eh,
Just kidding.
eh. Because we talking about tools, bro. Talking about
Uh,
tools, man.
I think our J Miles 56 says shoot. I don't think he's there at 9. Cole said he's taking the under. One of the crazy. I know there's a lot of like Shador to the Giants buzz. Um, I know that the Giants were doing a lot of work in Dart as well. It would be not crazy because it would be just like funny and hilarious if we're like there at our draft party and that pick comes in and the Giants take Dart at what,
At 3?
3 or 4?
3?
Woo! Push it
Oh
down, push it
man.
down, push it down, push it down, push it down.
I hope something fun like that happens. That's just fun.
If they take him at 3, that means someone is gonna be there for someone for us as a fan base for the Saints is gonna be there at 9 that we were not expecting.
You know what would be so annoying though? Is like the fan base, like say Shador is there at 9 and the Saints pass on him, whatever. But just to hear like the fans just be like, "Oh, you should have took Shador. Oh, how can you pass on Shador Sanders and all that?" Like that'll be so annoying. Like,
Click, click, click.
I can already hear, bro. I can already hear.
Oh, it's gonna be loud, bro. It would be even worse though if like he whatever team he got drafted by and then he like is like good.
Oh man. Told you.
Anyway, we appreciate y'all for joining us. We had 9, 12 people here in the chat for our Patreon only episode we did on Jaxson Dart. We appreciate y'all joining us on this holiday Monday. It was fun. It's fun talking Jaxson Dart. We'll see what happens. We're like less than like 30-ish, I don't know, 30-ish days. I don't even know. 30-ish days away from the Todd McShay say how many days we were away from the NFL draft. No, it was 70. It was 72 when he said it. So less than 70 days away from the NFL draft, and so plenty of time, but it'll go crazy. Hold on. There's a chat question. Who, if you could choose Dart at 9 for the Saints or yours on day 2, which would you choose? No, Adam is a yours fan. 66 days. I would go. I'll go yours day 2.
I still feel Ewers kind of undervalued a little bit, man. Like I don't hear nothing about him. Like nothing.
I'd
be able to check. Like, did he declare? Like, I'll make sure he declared, right? Because nothing about him, bro.
He did because people thought he was going to go back and like he was going to go back to school, like not go back to school. They thought he was going to like transfer and get like an NIL deal with another team, but like he stayed in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably going to go round 2 to a team where don't know. I would scoop him up at 40. I would. People would hate it because I know there's a lot of your people that can't stand him as a player, but I do think that his post, if you look at his play pre-oblique injury this season and post-oblique injury this season, he looked like a completely different player. Not making excuses for him. I'm just saying I don't know if he was ever fully healthy post-oblique injury. Anyway, I'm a Euros fan. I would take him. I would, especially considering like draft capital. I like Dart more than most. I don't love him. I like him. But I still feel like for me, his range is low first round pick, high second round pick. Dart at 9 for me is high. If Kellen was banging the table for him at 9, and that's where I'm cool. But if you gave me that option, I would go yours at 40. And give me like Will Johnson at 9 or whatever. Johnson. So before I forget, before we wrap this up, so I was gonna create this. So your board, if I remember correctly, your board is Genty, Johnson, McMillan, and Williams. Right? Yeah, because we've done 4. Yeah. And then mine is Johnson, Genty, McMillan, Williams. Where does Dart factor in for that for you?
I would put Dart below everybody at the end, at the bottom.
So he'd be your fifth.
The fifth, yeah. Like I take Mikael Williams over.
Oh man. Yeah, I think I
Me
would too.
I'm talking about me personally. Like
Yeah.
if obviously if Kellen Moore loved him, I'm like, oh, greatest quarterback ever. But just me personally, if I was like the GM deciding, like he would be the last.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like compared to like where I watched him and where I like put him, yeah, I think that's fair. Sherm said if Shador is there at 9, but the best available is say Mason, you still go Shador. I absolutely would not. No, Shador is like a round 2 prospect to me.
Yeah, round 2. Even
Sorry.
Dart got better tools, but we get. We're not going down there.
Dart has better tools. Shador has better intangibles.
He does. He does. No question about it.
If you could marry those two into one prospect, that's a top 5 pick.
Top 5 pick easily, bro, easily. But they got separated somehow.
Anyway, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Go out, enjoy the day, enjoy the week. We'll be back later this week doing a regular podcast episode. We'll see at that point if the Saints will have their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I kind of wanted to have like a look at maybe players tangentially that may be connected to the Saints due to this Kellen Moore hiring as head coach. Maybe a look at how his staff may look. But we'll get into that later this week. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll be back later this week. And with that, we are out.
Peace.